What are the odds that North America could have been started by Nephi, his brothers, and about 7 women?
Statistically and genetically, the odds are effectively 0.
The Mormon Church is kind of known for 2 things. They're known for polygamy, and they're known for having another Bible, right? The Book of Mormon. Well, it's funny that Mormons never ask themselves, what does the Book of Mormon teach about polygamy?
Because of our brother's strength and God's curse upon us, we are without food.
Remember when I said this is just Joseph Smith writing a book about how he's awesome? Because of our brother and his massive balls and huge cock and big muscles and juicy ass. Fuck, my brother's hot.
Do you feel that?
Yes.
Do you feel that?
Uh-huh.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. I cut it a little bit early. I'm sorry. Apologies, forgive me. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my favorite series on the internet. And I'm just not saying that because it's my series. I'm saying that because it's my favorite series. We've got a real ringer today. And by ringer, I mean we have a short video segment of a book which was once called Chloroform in Print. So if this is going to be entertaining at all, I have a feeling it's going to be because I'm trying my best over here to make it entertaining for all of you lovely people. We will get right into it. I'm very excited about this one. I do want to show you guys something that I thought was kind of silly and I had a good time with. I got this comment on my most popular video of all time 2 weeks ago. And the video is called Why I Left the Mormon Church, Why I Left Mormonism, something like that. I should know, but I don't. And I basically made a list. I was looking at the church and I was looking at other groups that I would be hesitant to join. And I noticed that the Mormon Church had lots of traits that I would not find acceptable in a new group. I thought to myself, I would never join a group that tells me what I can and can't question. And yet here I am in a group that discourages inquiry into their own history. Well, that's funny. What else are they doing that I wouldn't really be okay with in a vacuum? They're telling me what I can and can't say. They're telling me who I can and can't criticize. They're telling me all sorts of things. And so I made a video basically outlining the 3 things that the Mormon Church does that I fundamentally disagree with on a meta level. And I put that video out there. Well, I don't know how it's doing. I'm sure it's doing well. But about 2 weeks ago, a very active, very loving member said this to me. They said, "Thanks for leaving, ... You are not missed, period. Shame on you." So that's just, I mean, nothing hurts quite like Mormon Christ-like love. I love it. It was my favorite thing that I got. I mean, it's one of my favorite things that I've ever seen. It perfectly encapsulates everything that's wrong with it. And it's so poetic. It's so ironic. It's just beautiful. So, of course, I responded and I said, "Your Christ-like love radiates through the screen." I thought that was decent. Whoops. And I thought I lost this for a second, but I didn't. We are good. So, last week, we responded to a very boring video, a video that I thought was very boring, and then somehow more people watched it than have watched most of my previous videos. So go figure. I clearly do not have my finger on the pulse. I clearly don't know what the people like. Whatever, it's fine. Today we're watching The Lord Guides Lehi's Journey. And I have a feeling that this is going to be a video. That's all I can say right now. Like I said, I really don't know what's good or bad anymore.
About 600 BC, Lehi's sons marry the daughters of Ishmael. As they continue their journey to the promised land, God provides a miraculous compass, but it only works through faith and obedience. Based on actual events as recorded in the Book of Mormon, another testament of Jesus Christ.
So last week, I made a bit of a claim about how many people were here, and how many people were needed to populate North America, and how many people would have been on the boat that was going to cross the ocean, and how many people would have been helping to build that boat. We also talked about wooden submarines, which totally existed. In this, I mean, you don't just make a video like this. I mean, the Mormon Church put a lot of research, a lot of so much into this. They would not have overlooked a detail as large as how many people need to be in this shot. So let's count them. Let's see how they did, and let's see how we did on our guess last week. Last week I think I said we were probably looking at 18 people, but I don't remember if that was arriving to North America or after Lehi has Jacob and Joseph. So we have one person here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I see somebody behind here. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I'm only seeing 14. There's a 15th right there. There might be somebody behind whoever this is. And this, I think that's one person and then 2 people, but I guess it could be a person there and a person there. Either way, we're at 15, 16, potentially 17, which according to our numbers last year, we have Lehi, Sariah. Oops, where's my camera? Here's my camera. Lehi, Sariah, the 4 sons, which makes us 6, and then Zoram, which makes us 7. And then we would need at least 7 if we're counting Ishmael, his wife, and then enough daughters to marry the 5 men that came with Lehi and Sariah. And what I wonder about this. It's just wrong, right? It's just insanely wrong. I'm already on this. Holy cow. We are, okay, not counting credits. We are 44 seconds into this. Well, counting credits, we're 44 seconds into this video. So let's just do a thought experiment, right? And maybe we'll bring AI into this at the end, because I'm curious what AI would say to this answer or to this question. But so every single woman who's going to be populating the North American continent is a daughter of Ishmael. Okay. So even, and all of the sons, all of the men who are going to be populating this planet, this continent rather, are sons of Lehi, except for Zoram. Okay. And there's going to be in total, the 4 original sons of Lehi, and then 2 more. So we've got 6, including Jacob and Joseph. Jacob and Joseph aren't even alive yet because they're born in the wilderness, right? Whatever that means. I guess it could mean that they're here now. Okay. Either way, you can't populate a planet with 8 women who are all sisters. Okay, you got Zoram, who's the wild card. So one has a dad with different blood. But guess what? His kids are still the cousins of all the other kids. Their moms are sisters. You know how quickly everybody would have 2, 3, 4 eyes? It's insane. There are many problems. There are many logical, obvious problems that the Book of Mormon runs into. Wooden submarines, not the least of them. I might put that one in the top 4 or 5. This is a big problem. A huge problem is that the entire next generation are all cousins and their moms are all sisters. Don't even get me started on the fact that Jacob, the son of Lehi, gives a pretty big sermon about how polygamy is not okay. Okay? And then and then that kind of becomes the thing that Mormonism is known for. It's funny. I mean, they're no stranger to contradiction, I guess. But the Mormon Church is kind of known for 2 things. They're known for polygamy, and they're known for having another Bible, right? The Book of Mormon. Well, it's funny that Mormons never ask themselves, what does the Book of Mormon teach about polygamy? It's just crazy. It's just crazy. That was a. I really took that on a journey. I wasn't expecting that, but here we are. Everybody's got their
Ishmael.
Their hot.
We're filled with gratitude
honey.
for your faith.
Okay, that was an easy
For
one.
joining us on
Actually,
this
that
difficult
one.
journey. Your faith is a great gift.
My kids are all plowing your daughters. Every single one of my sons is going Liahona deep into your daughters every night. It's crazy. It's crazy what they're doing to them.
My sons,
Are
and now
plowing your
daughters. We have fulfilled all the commandments of the Lord which have been given unto us.
Now, this is just clunky writing by Joseph Smith. Whether somebody took a script and made small adjustments to make this video flow more, or if they're actually taking from the Book of Mormon, it doesn't matter, because the subject matter is so horrible that you couldn't possibly make something good out of it. Here I am trying to make something good out of it. We have followed all of the commandments of the Lord which have been given unto us. What kind of... It's such an unnecessary addition to the sentence. We've followed all the commandments of the Lord which he has given us. Okay, you could have stopped it. I mean, it's just clunky. It just feels terrible.
We have been
In my
blessed of
ears.
the Lord exceedingly. Please, eat.
All right, let's count again. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I was right. Now, I've not seen Zoram yet. I don't really recognize Zoram. Great. Ishmael's family is like one of those families where everybody plays an instrument. I guess that's where Mormons get it. Where like you go, there's a sacrament meeting and you're like, oh great, the Smiths are going up again. They all have their violins out. The dad's either on a violin and he's like actually incredible at the violin, but it's annoying because you hear him every 2 weeks, or the dad is playing piano. Either way, you know who this family is. And it looks like, I mean, they're dancing like they're at a steak dance.
Only
This is
each
crazy.
day were as joyful as this.
golden snitch. That's what it looks like.
The voice of the Lord spake unto me by night. He commanded me to take our journey into the wilderness.
Father, in which direction will we go?
Good question.
The Lord has provided means for us to follow his path.
It's kind of funny
Behold,
because sure, they're going to use the Liahona to like navigate their ship, but they're just trying to get to the ocean right now, right? And then theoretically, God's just going to steer their ship the same way he did for the wooden submarines. I'm never going to give that up, by the way. Until the church explains in general conference how a wooden submarine went underneath the ocean, I will not bring it up. I will not stop bringing it up. This is the hill that I will die on. But theoretically, right? Go with me here. They're just trying to get to the ocean so that they can get on a ship so that they can land somewhere in what some experts say, Peru, the west side of South America. It doesn't matter what fucking part of the shore you end at. You're just gonna build a boat anyways, right? So like you could take off from anywhere. You just have to get to the beach. Do they not know what direction the beach is in? You don't need a Liahona for this.
behold the two spindles. Behold the two spindles. The one points the way whither we should go.
What does the other one do?
The path is clear.
It's not very clear to me. I don't even know what the other thing does.
Let us depart.
Okay. That was a well thought out plot point by good old Joe. Okay. The compass will have 2 needles. And one of the needles... Nope, we'll come back to that one. The other one will point where they should go. Brilliant. I really wish I hadn't said there were 2 needles. Now it's going to drive me crazy. This is an example of, the weapons of peace, part of the Book of Mormon, where there are certain parts of the Book of Mormon. I guess I'll go full screen for this. Who knows how long I'm going to talk. Not me. I'm the one who's about to do it. There's that part in the Book of Mormon where it kind of obviously shows you that Joseph is saying, first of all, Joseph Smith can't ever say that he read something wrong, because that would kind of show that he's not perfect at transcribing or translating or receiving revelation or anything like that. So there are parts of the Book of Mormon where he said the wrong thing, but he can't admit it by saying, wait, Oliver, no, it wasn't that. Sorry, it was this. He can't do that because that would show that he did something wrong, right? So where he says, and they buried their weapons of peace. Oh, fuck. Weapons of peace. That's not a thing. Weapons of peace. Or, which is to say, I mean, he's thinking on his feet really quickly. I will give that to Joseph. He's going, okay, weapons of peace. I just said weapons of peace like an idiot. They're which is to say, they're weapons of war for peace. There are moments like that where you can tell that he was in a room with somebody and he couldn't renege. I said renege. I don't know. I'm trying to spice this thing up, guys. I'm sorry. But no, he can't go back. And this is another one where he said, okay, the compass, and it will have 2 spindles. And one of them will, you know what I mean? It gives I'm getting used to this way of speaking, so please forgive me. But as a Gen Z would say, it gives not true. I'm having fun. I hope you guys are having fun. Nobody. When they wrote the script for this, nobody was like, what does the other thing do? Okay, and now they have kids already. Who knows how long they've been out here, but I mean, they have full camps, they have rugs. I don't remember them leaving with rugs originally. Are they making rugs on the road? There are more people in every sea.
We'll travel in the southeast.
Also, if only one of the things point where you should go, how do you know which one is pointing where you should go? It would be... Look, you can't see it because it's behind the camera, but I have some roller shades on this window behind. And there's only two string. Like, there's the one that makes it go up, and then there's the other side of the same... It's all the same cord, but like there are only two that I could pull. And you know something? I never pull the right one. I always think that I know which one it is, but depending on what side of the window it's on, it's either the front or the back, and I can never remember it. And I open these windows every goddamn day. I feel like John Mulaney. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to do an impression because I can't, but I feel like I never get it right. How does Lehi know which one is pointing him to where he's supposed to go? And if he knows which one it's there, then what is the other one doing? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to give it up. I'm going to stop on the second needle thing. I did say that Lehi's sons were going in there. They were going deep.
Stay on the path. The Lord will provide.
Be prayerful. Be safe. Nephi, you dog. Okay, first of all, I love how this whole book is just about how Joseph Smith is the coolest youngest brother, right? We understand that now. Here in this room, we know that this is just, an exercise for Joseph Smith of trying to be like, no, younger brothers are cool, right? I'm better than everyone else. Shows, I think that I can never keep their faces straight. I think that was Lemuel who just shot and it didn't even go straight. It just sorry, I just clipped. Sorry if I just hurt all of your ears. His arrow goes 25 feet and then just softly lands in the grass. And then Nephi does this. He shoots it. Does a no-look, looks at his brothers to see them watch it hit. Who does he think he is? Neymar? Doing no-look arrow shoots over here? Just yeah, no, I am the man. I really am. His brothers are all right. We don't ruin all the fun for the rest of us.
Oh, they're beautiful.
Let us depart.
I can't deal with another travel montage. We get it. They walked in the desert for so long that everyone was pregnant when they got to where they were going.
Do not worry. We will find food.
How? Your bows having lost their springs.
Layman! I tell you again, we will find food.
I was right, by the way. It was Lemuel who shot that pathetic, sorry excuse for an arrow.
It! You fool! Why did you draw so hard? What is the matter with you? Now what will we do?
Definitely sounded like a wooden snap, right? We'll get into this at some point, but this is the metal bow, which could not have existed. This is a bit of wow. Every once in a while I get so tongue-tied. Anachronism. Steel bows. They didn't exist until like the late 1800s. Until about 2,500 years after this would have been happening. Kind of a big deal. Of course, that I can't explain NHM. Oh, I can only bring up wooden submarine. Apologists love to talk about NHM, Nahum. Now, there are like 15 other places on planet Earth where those symbols also exist. So, fair is fair, I guess. But I can't explain that, so I guess they are right. I just have everything else.
Father, because of our brother's strength and God's curse upon us, we are without food.
Oh, man. Remember when I said this is just Joseph Smith writing a book about how he's awesome? Because of our brother and his goddamn huge muscles. Now we're all hungry. Because of our brother and his massive balls and huge cock and big muscles and juicy juicy ass. Fuck. My brother's hot.
Oh. Where shall we go for food now, great leader?
Now it sounds like metal. Did you hear that? Listen.
Where shall we go for food now, great leader?
Now it sounds like metal, but when it breaks, it sounds like wood. Here's my theory. Obviously, this is the magic of movie making, right? So they're going to use a wooden one to break it, because a wooden one would break. And then later, to get the detail in, they're going to use metal and they're going to clink it together and they're going to make it sound like metal. Why would they use a wooden bow to make it break instead of a metal one? Clearly, Nephi was strong enough to just break the metal one.
why wouldn't they just use a metal one in the movie? Could it possibly be that it not only is it totally inconceivable and an anachronism to have a steel bow in 600 BC? Steel bows were used later in Europe in like the late 1800s by the military. They were not hunting bows. So all of that aside, not only is it totally unlikely that a steel bow could have been here now, it's also unlikely that if they had a steel bow, it would have broken. That's weird. Can't even break it now. They have to use a wooden one for the effect. And they have all of modern technology to make it steel and break it now. I don't know. I just think that's a little interesting. Maybe I'm thinking too much about this. Oh, let's bring up one more thing really quick. This actor, this guy. Now, we've been talking all night about how the Book of Mormon is just a book where Joseph Smith can be like, I'm cool. We understand that. So, really, this is Joseph, right? We understand that. Well, remember who he plays in the restoration? I mean, it's a little on the nose for me. We got Joseph Smith Sr. over here playing the dad of cosplay Joseph. I don't know. I know I'm reading into that too much because, that this would require a level of irony and self-awareness that the church simply does not possess. But just because they don't possess it doesn't mean that we can't see it.
We have been prayerful, obedient. We have done all we have been commanded to do. What more could we have done? Why?
Your fucking strong son
Why has the
shouldn't
Lord
have...
chosen now to abandon us?
Lord will provide. The Lord will provide. The Lord
Definitely
has led
metal.
us out here to perish. We don't need the Lord. We need food.
Do not revile against the Lord. He has delivered us thus far. He will do so again.
At this point, Jerusalem hasn't even been destroyed yet. He hasn't delivered you from anything. Right? Can we all agree on that? You could just be back there relaxing, and none of this would have even been necessary. Uh-oh. Now the two spinny things are spinning.
You have hardened your hearts again, even unto complaining against the Lord. The Lord will provide.
No. Father's correct. The Lord has abandoned us.
Also, every time you see an animal that you need to hunt, that's not the Lord providing. There are animals around. They're living their lives. They're eating that grass. They're flying around. They're getting water. Every time you see an animal while you are in the mood to hunt, that's not God being like, shoot this, Nephi. Pull out those big biceps. Yeah, let me see them. Slower. Yeah, shoot that. Yeah, shoot it, Nephi. God's just jerking off watching. Slower. Oh, it's so funny. So stupid. You know that, I gotta stop this right here. You know that Louis C.K. joke where he's like, if God could come down and just clear a few things up for like 10 minutes, that would be really great. Maybe I'll try and find it because it's pretty good. But he goes, first of all, Mormons, just no. I love that part. But then he goes, and you're eating the animals? That's disgusting. You're supposed to be having sex with them. I just thought of that. I don't know. Sorry, everybody. Also, no character development for Nephi. He's a very boring character. He's just always good. The goody-goody, like, two shoes, like the HOA president of his brothers. Also, is this the Lord providing? Holy shit. He planted this tree here 50,000 years ago. 50 years ago. I don't know how long trees live. I think they could be very old. I think the oldest tree ever is like insanely old. So like, who knows, right? And this is all make-believe anyway. So the tree could be as old as I want it to be. But like, is this the Lord providing? Every time you see a goat, apparently, that's the Lord providing. Every time you shoot a quail, that's the Lord providing. So if you see a tree and build a bow out of it, is that also the Lord providing? He's going to make this string too? No. This is as unlikely as him having a metal bow in the first place. Also, he didn't need to make arrows. He had arrows. He didn't break when he broke his steel. But what is he doing? Dude, you have like good arrows from Jerusalem back at home, like the ones that the steel guy gave you. What are you making arrows from scratch too? That doesn't make any sense.
What is that fool doing? Father? Whither shall I go to obtain food?
They really should have modernized the script here.
Oh, my son.
Whither should I go? Whither shall I go?
Thank you for your faith.
It wasn't faith. He just made
Wait
the
here.
He made faith. It's considered faith because Nephi decided to just make his own bow, because until he made his own bow, they wouldn't see another animal. Like, there are always animals around. I mean, there are tribes in Mexico that will just chase a deer until it just collapses out of exhaustion. They don't use bow and arrows. Bows and arrows? I don't know the right way to say it. The plural of archery equipment.
Oh, Lord. Please, forgive me.
What happened to you in there?
The Lord told me to look upon the ball and
was why he was
behold the
asking
things
you.
which are written.
How is this possible? What is it?
How was
There are
what?
new writings.
Oh, the new writings. Okay. I didn't understand.
The
what's happening.
pointers which are in the ball. They work according to the faith and diligence and heed which we give unto them.
Okay, so what does the other one do? They work according to the faith. Got it. What does the second one do? Also, they were doing that like last time he shot someone. They looked at the Liahona, didn't they? So this isn't exactly a new concept. I wonder if the Liahona... It told you the last 3 times. You're all pretty happy about his huge fucking muscles
O Lord,
now.
we give thee thanks. May we remember that with great faith and diligence, and through small means.
I'm probably being a little nitpicky here, but in the very opening scene, they were eating bread. And I didn't say it at the time, but my thought was, what, crock pot? How are they making bread? I don't see an oven. I don't see anything that looks remotely like an oven. I haven't even seen like an open flame, which is how I assume they're cooking all of this meat. But now it occurs to me, you guys just went hungry for like 4 days. And you were, because you can't shoot animals, but you don't need animals to make bread. So like, where did that all go? I don't know.
Thou canst bring about...
I bet that's an inconsistency in the video to test our faith.
Great things.
If I see a loaf of bread, I'm gonna shit my pants. Really, just all of a sudden, they're like, yeah, we decided to make bread too. Alright. I guess I won't be shitting my pants. Well, that was exciting. Very good video. Very good Mormon video. I brought something up last week that I want to dive into a little bit more carefully tonight. Careful is not the right word. You don't need to be careful about this. It's all bullshit. It's bullshit and it's bad for you. Who said that? However, there is a talk that I think is going to really have to disappear. And before it does, I would like to make note of it somewhere. So here we go. June of 1976, Jeffrey Holland gave a talk called A Promised Land. Pull it up for you here. Relatively boring. At one point he says, North America wasn't always called North America. In fact, when God first created land, it was called good. That's a terrible... I mean, it's like someone in Provo is trying to start doing stand-up. It's so bad. But it was called good. Yeah, okay. Yeah, nice one, Jeff. So anyway, he's going through the history of the world. He's saying the history of the world, you see. And he's talking about how it used to be called good, and then the earth has changed a lot, and the Lord was so pained by a generation without affection that he opened the windows of heaven and cleansed the entire earth with water. I'm now quoting this talk, sorry. Thus, the everlasting decree from Ether 2:10, we might look at that later, was first taught that he who will not obey
the Lord in righteousness will be swept from his sacred land. The lesson would be tragically retaught in dispensations yet to come. Now, well, I'm just going to keep reading and then I'll give my thoughts later. Holy Scripture records that after the waters had receded from off the land, so he's talking about the flood, the 40 days, 40 nights. After the waters had receded from off the face of this land, it became a choice land above all other lands, a chosen land of the Lord. Wherefore the Lord would have that all men should serve him who dwell upon the face thereof. That's not going to bode particularly well, because remember last week how it's like, you guys got to leave Jerusalem or you're going to perish and dwindle in unbelief. And then everybody who leaves Jerusalem and gets to America perishes and dwindles in unbelief. Remember that whole thing? We're going at it today, I guess. Such a special place needed now to be kept apart from all other regions, free from the indiscriminate traveler. We're talking about North America here. Such a special place needed to be kept apart from the other regions, free from the indiscriminate traveler, as well as the soldier of fortune. That's a weird two examples, but we'll go with it. There are only two types of people who are definitely staying away from here. Am I right? You all know what I'm about to say. The indiscriminate traveler and the soldier of fortune. Yep, those two, the most obvious examples. Well done. To guarantee such sanctity, the very surface of the earth was rent in response to God's decree. So, in order to keep this land sacred, the continents split. Now, I was taught in seminary that this is the exact example that my teacher used. It was kind of weird. I don't know why it stuck with me so much, but it has. There was a kid who usually sat in the front. He was a football player, and he had done something to his ankle or his knee during a football game or a practice, and he was on crutches. And my teacher pointed to him, and I don't remember his name. We're going to call him Tyler or Tanner. We're going to call him Tanner because all good Mormon boys are named Tanner. And he said, Tanner here, he used to run really fast, but now he's in a cast, he runs slow. Just because he runs slow now doesn't mean that he always has to run slow, and it doesn't mean that he always will run slow. And then he said, the continents are drifting apart slowly now, but that doesn't mean that they always did. They went really fast during the flood. That was the point he was making. So the surface of the earth was rent. In response to God's decree, the great continents separated and the ocean rushed in to surround them. That's not how it happened. The promised place was set apart without habitation in waiting for the fulfillment of God's special purposes. The promised land was set apart in waiting for habitation. Without habitation. It waited for the fulfillment of God's purposes. With care and selectivity, the Lord began almost at once to repopulate the promised land. The Jaredites came first. So the Jaredites arrived to an empty continent. Interesting. With stories of the great flood fresh in their memories, the Lord's solemn declaration ringing in their ears, who should possess this land of promise from that time henceforth and forever should serve him, the true and only God, or they would be swept off when the fullness of his wrath should come upon them. They did, smallpox did give some of them a pretty bad rash when Columbus came, but those weren't the Jaredites. So he is saying that the Lord wants North America to be kept free of habitation, and that if they don't listen, they will be swept off. And okay, sure, let's make that argument. The Book of Ether, you know what I'm about to say next, the wooden submarines. The Book of Ether opens with the great, with the Tower of Babel and a family that wants to leave. We went over this last week. They come across wooden submarines, and they slowly start to become disobedient, and eventually they all die. Okay, sure. But even as the last light flickered on the Jaredite civilization, a new bold A bold new sun rose to illuminate 1,000 years of Nephite Lamanite experience on the same soil. Despite periods of war and rebellion, these people nevertheless had great moments of power and purity, including a personal ministry of the resurrected Christ, who walked and talked and prayed with those New World inhabitants for 3 indescribable days. Probably a good author could have described them. We only had Joseph to deal with. I bet Dostoevsky would have done a great job, but we only have the 14-year-old liars that we have sometimes. There in the meridian of time, the land enjoyed 3 generations of peace and perfection, which it would not know again until the master's millennial reign. The lessons of history, if not learned well, are certain to be taught again. And a lone father with his son lived to see the self-destruction of these people of promise. The Nephite Lamanite mortality descended from sorceries and witchcrafts and magics into rape, murder, and cannibalism. Yeah, those are all bad things, yeah. Creating a vision so repulsive that it was impossible for the tongue to describe or for a man to write. Again, probably a better author could have described it, but we only had the tools that we had, and that tool is Joseph Smith in both senses of the word. He was a tool, and also he was being used as a tool, according to them. So this is, let's see, it's pretty boring. I'm just trying to find the parts that concretely make the argument that Mormons right now are trying so hard not to make, because one day this talk will disappear. So it's interesting. So the Jaredites, when they become evil, they're made to disappear. They destroy each other. God has the power, and God already had the power, and he already did it once, that he could just wipe out everybody when he did the flood. But apparently the Nephites and the Lamanites, it doesn't matter how bad they get, God is apparently not going to fulfill that prophecy now, because he's going to let them live on until Columbus finds them. Obviously that's necessary for, in order to make the argument that those were the ancient Lamanites, they would have to still be here, I guess. Let's see. After 1,000 years of preparation, the Spirit of God rested upon a young Italian sailing under the flag. So I don't understand, according to this logic, why the Nephites and Lamanites shouldn't have been destroyed. That seems like God not being consistent, but here we are, So I brought that up for an interesting point, but I guess I already kind of made it. Anyway, let's ask ChatGPT, and I'm sorry, but this might take me a second to bring up. Actually, I'll just do it right now. So we've established that roughly 18 people, all of the women were sisters, came across to a brand new continent and populated North America. Let's ask if that seems possible of ChatGPT. Let's go. I'm going to load really quick. Here we go. If 18 people went to a brand new planet and all of the women were sisters and they were supposed to repopulate that planet, how many generations would they last before inbreeding just totally took over? Or would inbreeding take over? Would they be perfectly fine?
Become a significant problem over time. With only 18 individuals and all women closely related as sisters, the initial genetic diversity is extremely low. While you might manage a few generations with careful pairing, by around the 3rd or 4th generation, the lack of unrelated genetic lines would lead to a high risk of inbreeding depression. In other words, they wouldn't be perfectly fine. Inbreeding would indeed take over relatively quickly.
So if a bunch of people were going to go to a new planet, how many men and women would you need to safely kind of escape that inbreeding risk?
A reasonable starting number to minimize inbreeding risk is at least several hundred individuals, ideally with a mix of unrelated men and women. Population genetic models often suggest around 500 individuals as a safer baseline to maintain genetic diversity over multiple generations. This number allows for a healthy gene pool and reduces the likelihood of inbreeding over time.
So, what are the odds that, like, North America could have been started by Nephi, Lehi, his brothers, and about 7 women?
Statistically and genetically, the odds are effectively zero. A founding population that small, especially as closely related as the scenario you describe, would not have the genetic diversity needed to sustain a stable population over generations without severe inbreeding. In real human populations, successful colonization requires a much larger and more genetically diverse group.
What's more likely? That a bunch of people could build wooden submarines that would hold out the water and they could go underneath the ocean all the way across from, like, wherever the Tower of Babel was to North America, or that approximately 16 individuals, half of them sisters, the other half brothers, excluding one additional male, could populate a planet? Which one of those two things is more unlikely?
The wooden submarine scenario is more unlikely. Wooden submarines capable of crossing an ocean from a Tower of Babel location to North America is essentially beyond any historical or technological plausibility. On the other hand, a tiny group of 16 related individuals colonizing a new planet is also extremely implausible due to genetic constraints, but it still fits within the realm of theoretical biology rather than outright technological impossibility. In short, both are unrealistic, but the wooden submarine idea is even less plausible.
There you have it. I did think of one more thing that I wanted to say while I was reading Jeffrey's talk. He specifically mentions that this land will be kept from the indiscriminate traveler. Remember that? There were only 2 obvious types of people that a person giving a discourse on this subject would think to talk about. One was obviously the indiscriminate traveler, and the other was none other than the soldier of fortune. About that indiscriminate traveler. Do all the people who crossed the frozen Bering Strait count as indiscriminate travelers? I would say that they probably do, right? So his talk literally excludes the number one historically backed theory. It's hardly a theory at this point. Of how this planet was populated. Oh, Jeffrey, thank you for that. You said a lot of really dumb shit while you were alive, but you also said that. And at the time, you couldn't have known how brilliant that was. Remember, I just want to make this point really clear. The Book of Mormon, I'm not going to be able to remember when this happened, but the introduction to the Book of Mormon used to say that Nephi and Laman and Lemuel and Sam were like the core ancestors or something like that of the people who are now the Native Americans. However, they changed it when DNA data entirely disagreed with that claim. And Mormon apologists started saying pretty hard that this continent was already heavily populated. And the reason that we don't see their DNA is because really it only made up a very small portion of the people who were already here. That talk by Holland basically says that's not true. At least in, when was it, 79, the Mormon Church thought that this was an empty continent. It's funny, they've always been getting their information from God, right? So there's no logical reason for that information to be changing. It must be that the data is so significantly against what God is saying. I don't know, maybe God's wrong about this one, you guys. Let me know in the chat what you guys think. But this just, something smells off about this to me. No, that's the video. I think that's all I've got in me right now, and I think that's all that I should say. I think that I've said plenty. If you're here at the end of this video, holy shit, thank you. That's a long thing to watch. I don't know why you're doing this. I mean, sure, this is how I consumed content when I was leaving the church. I've been trying to make the types of things that I would like to make. Remember like 2 seconds ago when I said I'm done talking? What else could I possibly say? I thought of other things to say. This was the kind of stuff that I loved listening to when I was leaving the church. I just needed somebody with a little bit of a sense of humor to show me that like there is going to be joy and happiness on the other side of this decision, and I just need to make the decision, and I need to give myself permission to make that decision. And here I am. Now I'm that person doing that. I hope that this is entertaining, first of all. More than that, I hope that it is like giving little light bulbs in your brain and making you feel like, yeah, I could totally be happy after this. Like, yeah, it's weird right now. I'm stressed right now. I'm going through an existential crisis right now. By the way, I have so many videos geared toward that. I've spent a lot of time on this channel. The majority of my time on this channel really has been addressing the existential questions. What do I think about faith? What do I think about God? What do I think of religion as a tool? All of these things. But sometimes you just need to sit back and watch a stupid video and have fun. And that's what this series is for. So thank you for being here. I'm glad you're here. Tell your friends to be here. I would love at some point in the future to actually do this show live, let people get in, let people chat, and just like have a good time, turn it into a thing, you know? Yeah, we'll get there when we get there. But I just want to say thank you for being here. It helps if you like it. If you've made it this far in the video, I think you'll like it. Just click like. You know what I mean? None of you are going to see this part, but just click like, man. No, seriously. Take care of yourselves. Be good to each other. And always brush your teeth. Capwing! That's a Calvin and Hobbes reference, by the way. The Capwing.